Good morning from, well, Glenshee, I suppose. I'm headed up one of the Munros in this part of the world, Creag Leacach, today. And it's a way I've not actually come up before. It's fairly close to the main road, the Glenshee road, which is over there in the sunshine. It's quite remarkable how quickly, as soon as you get off the road, because the road's quite high, then there's sort of a really steep bank alongside the road where it falls into the glen, and as soon as you disappear down there, it's another world. I mean, I can see the cars going backwards and forwards, but it's very quiet, very, very quickly. Anyway, we're heading up here somewhere. Oh, that's sad. It's not often you see this, really. It's a calf, red deer calf. Oh, Christ, it's so small, isn't it? I don't often see dead deer. I've seen them occasionally, especially after you get the heavy snow or late snow. It's quite, I suppose then you see them. I think that's probably the last time I did see them, a few years back when we had all that snow in 2013. I think quite a few deer died that year as well. It's really small. I'm fairly sure that's not going to be this year's calves, because they don't get born until it gets a bit warmer, doesn't it? I don't know. I mean, certainly where I used to work, where we had a deer farm, they didn't get born until May, I think, deer calves. I'm assuming it's probably a similar timetable on the hill. I'm not sure, but I'd assume that's probably one of last year's. If it is one of last year's, it's unbelievably small, isn't it, still? Which isn't surprising given the tough life you have to eke out on the hill. It's a hill I've been up quite a few times, either coming over from Glasmow, which is over there, or from the northern, the western flank of Glen Isla. I've come up from various different ways. It's the first time I've come up from this side. It's much quieter, it feels much more wild, because Glen Isla is quite, it looks like an estate. It feels like it's managed, but this is a nice way of attaining this particular hill, I think. Climbing higher. Just spotted over there. Does that look like a snow hole? Where are we? There. It's hard to tell from this distance. Is that footprints going in there? I've got to come back this way at the end of the day, so I might go back and have a look. Certainly looks like a snow hole from this distance. Certainly a nice, reliable bank of snow to be digging it into. Certainly a lot of wildlife today. There's grouse everywhere. And where are you? There's a hare. Somewhere up there. There we are. Lots of those around. Still white. They won't be staying white much longer. So that's it. That's our summit up there. You might just be able to make out someone's been skiing down the front. That maybe gives something of a sense of scale to figure out how far I've got to go. It's really not far. I mean, it's just a couple of kilometres really from the road down there, and the road of course is high, so I think it's starting about 400 or 500 metres, and it's a 900 and something metre hill, so it's not a huge ascent. Snow is still quite firm, so I dare say it's going to be crampons weather again, as it has been for the last couple of weeks. Certainly all this week, since being on Ben Louis last week, there's been a couple of mild spells and then it's all gone cold again, so it's still very, very firm snow. Spring snow, which softens up quickly in this sun. I wasn't planning on coming out today. This is quite a late start. It's 20 to 1. Wasn't planning on it because the weekend just gone. It's on a hedge laying course at Lochore Meadows with Fife Coast and Countryside Trust. Trying to lay hawthorn hedges which are impossibly prickly. Big massive thorns. So it's hard work anyway, and then having been impaled left, right and centre by hawthorns. And they're not toxic, but they do provoke a reaction when they go into your skin, which can inflame. So I've got a few of those in peculiar places, aches, feeling a bit creaky from all the soaring and everything else we were doing. So I thought, no, I'm gonna have a lazy day today. But it's forecast to be 10 mile an hour winds or less. And then when I got up this morning, stepped out front of the house, blue sky, not a breath of wind, just thinking, oh God, how can I not? So immediately setting to the map and thinking, where's the closest big hill that's guaranteed to have snow fields rather than just snow patches, and it's easy to get to, and of course it's Glenshee. Get up nice and high. It's about an hour and a half here really from Fife. Easy to get to, a nice easy option. And certainly it's not far, it's just up there. Of course the other reason for making a point of coming out today is that tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday by the looks of it, and probably even into the weekend and into next week, it's going to get colder with snow and a bit windier, so for all intents and purposes the hills are going to be off bounds for the next week because winter's back with a vengeance. It's a funny time of year, spring, isn't it, having these extremes of these really sudden swings. And because the sun's so warm, it's that April showers thing, you know, the sea's cold, lots of turbulent, the air's quite turbulent, so you get these big hail showers. That's what I always think of April as being in the hills, is massive towering clouds and then sudden hail or snow, I suppose. Storms that last 5 minutes and then are gone, and then you wait for the next one to come rattling in. And it is cold now. I mean, the sun's coming out again. It's been in that last few minutes, and it is cold. You really feel it drop. It's still cold up here. I think it said it was going to be -2 at 900 meters today. So the air is still a very cold air mass we've got over us, made colder by the fact that, you know, you can have a warmer air mass, but if it's very still and you've got snow on the ground, then sort of the air above it is still kept cool as well. So it is cold up here still. Not in the sun though, which is coming back out. More hares. Hares everywhere. Believe it or not, they're actually our only native hare. The only hare that was really here after all the glacial ice disappeared around 10,000 years ago. Brown hare supposedly was brought over here very, very long time ago. I think by the Romans maybe. So it's been here, it's been naturalised, it's been here for thousands of years. But even so, you know, it's not a native species, but how do you define, it's a bit of a controversial subject these days, how will you define what's native and what isn't? You know, how long can a creature be here before you say it, you know, it belongs here, whether or not we brought it. Oh look, there's 3 of them up there now. Is that 3? Oh, aye, there you go, 3 of them. I am famously the one who loves winter, you know, could quite happily live in perpetual winter. But even I would have to admit that it's nice once it starts warming up and you lose a bit of the snow cover. It is nice to see the hills coming to life a bit, because you do see wildlife when you're out and about in winter, but you've probably seen from the last few blogs from this winter, certainly. What have we seen? Ptarmigan, maybe. And that's about it. And maybe deer, red grouse, not much else. Maybe snow buntings if you're lucky, eagles if you're in the right place. But really there's not actually that much to see. So just down the bottom, saw my first up discipline moth of the year. I've got a thing about moths, I do like moths. Intriguing little things. So there's winged beasts starting to fly around again. And that's fine. I'm quite happy with winged beasts of that size. It's when all the other ones start waking up, the ones that are much smaller, the midges and the clegs. Ugh. Oh, this is as still as promised so far. Wonderful views. That's the road going up to the pass. That's the Cairnwell there. Glenshee, Spittle of Glenshee's all the way down there. And Ben Law's towering. Where are you? Over there. There it is. Well, so far it is quite hard, but it's been made quite sugary while it's warming up, so not quite at crampons place yet. Wouldn't be surprised if we got all the way to the top of this without crampons. Coming down might be a different matter, especially where those slopes have gone into the shade. But it's a game you play. It's like I was talking about on Benvironment, where there's lots of long stretches of snow going all the way down, lots of patches that are very firm that do need crampons, and it's a decision of do you put your crampons on and then consciously try to follow the snow line all the way to the top, or do you stay on stuff like this and do the same thing but on the green and the brown instead of white? Usually I'd say either of those are preferable to making stubbornly following the path or the ridge line, and then going to put your crampons on, taking your crampons off, putting your crampons on. But there does come a point, of course, where you can't avoid it, when it does get dangerous. There's no wind. I hope it's like this at the top. Well, it's worth pointing out because it's in the sun at the moment. There's no guarantee it will stay that way. There's Benvironment all the way in the distance with its those massive granite tors on its top. Big beast of a hill, that one. Less of a hill, more of a big plateau with great big monstrous corries gouged out of it. Not the most accessible hill from any direction, actually. So it's quite rewarding. Very remote, wild place. Using a bike to get in there, and then, which I've never done. I always want to stay overnight on Benvironment and explore it properly, because I certainly haven't ranged all over the plateau and explored all the tors and corries. One day. Well, there's another hare. I have to say I'm really enjoying this. You can walk for a long time in certain hills and certain parts of Scotland and not see any mountain hares. But it's nice up here. Certainly here on Glassmale, I've always found them to be a lot up here. Seems quite a healthy population. Just doing what they do. Foraging. Oh, aren't they adorable? If you haven't seen his work, highly recommend looking up James Roddy online. He spends hours crawling, getting very, very close to mountain hares, earning their trust. It takes a lot of patience, more patience than I've got, but the photos he gets are just astonishing. But you have to sort of wait, take your time, so that they're very relaxed, like this one clearly is, washing, scratching. And of course they are culled in their hundreds in Scotland on some estates, because they carry, I'm not sure, I can't remember what it is they carry, but it's because of their perceived damage to grouse shooting, spreading, is it ticks or some virus, I can't remember, but they're blamed for having high numbers and having an adverse impact upon shooting estates. So you have the native wildlife culled in huge numbers just to sustain blasting grouse off the moor. Oh, there we are. That's Creag Leacach. This one. A bit further than I remember it being, actually. And that's Glassmal over there. I wouldn't normally start this late, even in the middle of summer, because you have different issues then, because you've got the heat, which is a problem, and the sun's too strong setting off later. It's nice to set off early when it's cooler. But I see the benefits of setting off later now is because the snow is soft. This would have been bulletproof this morning. So I don't need the crampons at the moment. Top. Fairly inauspicious summit, but I actually really like it. It's nice and rocky, which you can't really tell that much because the snow's down, but it's a nice rocky summit. Nice long wall going all the way along this ridge, most of the way up to Glassmal, and it's a really good viewpoint looking into the Cairngorms. Central Cairngorms, of course, the plateau which is over there. Looking, of course, through over that way towards Cairngorm and Benvironment and Blethering. Quite a view. Cheers. Peaceful. Well, as promised, there's no wind. Struck it lucky with the weather again. Excuse me. It's like on Benvironment last week, it was forecast to be breezy, and it was like this. Actually, it was less windy than this. There is a slight breeze picking up, which is why I've got this on. Ever so slight, but it's enough when it's sort of -10 degrees at this height. A slight breeze is all it takes just to chill you a bit, so it's worth putting something on as soon as you sit down, just to make sure that doesn't happen. Oh, it's glorious. I've been quite lucky actually. There's these sort of lines of clouds streaming northwest to southeast, because that's the way the wind's coming from. It's a northwesterly today, which is why it made more sense to come to the southern Cairngorms, because it's as far away as you can get in the mountains from the northwest. It means that there'll be less cloud in the southeast. So, and it certainly has panned out this way, because there's plenty of blue sky. Certainly over that way it's a lot more murky. Over towards, that's over towards home. I can see the Lomond Hills all the way over there. It's a very distinctive twin paps of the Lomond Hills. It's way too faint for me to pick up on this, I'm afraid, but I can see the Pentlands here. I can see over the other side of the Forth, the North Seas over there. I think that's over towards Montrose that way. And this is right in front of us. This is Glen Isla, hidden up here, which works its way. And then Monagher Hill is this one here. Not this one, this big one in front of us, but this little one in the middle, which is the standard route I use for getting up to Glassmal actually. Usually I come from over here, walk up Glen Isla, or usually bike up Glen Isla as far as I can, and then dump the bike and come up Monagher Hill and come around Glassmal, then come back the other side of Cairngorms and Glen, which is tucked over there somewhere in between Monagher Hill and those hills in the distance. And that's a really nice round. My original plan today was to come here and then carry on walking over to Glassmal, and maybe go and take, because it's a great view, maybe go over to the head of Cairngorms and Glen and look down into the Glen, because it's an immense, amazing view, and then just come back the way I've come. But I'm happy with this, actually. The reason I got up and felt motivated to actually go up and seize the day and head up this morning after seeing the weather at home was just because I couldn't bear the thought of missing no wind under a blue sky in the snow. So I don't feel any great need to go marching through snow, especially now it's getting now the sun's been on it, it's a bit wet and sugary and it's a bit harder going. So I feel no great need to go over to Glassmail. And once you get up to the top of Glassmail, you actually can't see that much because it's such a sort of big dome of a hill. If you're actually from the summit proper, you can't actually see that much. And the view doesn't change a whole lot once you get over there. It's only once you come over the top and you have to do a big diversion that way to go and see Cairngorms and Glen. That's worth doing, but I'm happy with this. It's all right. It's later than I was expecting. It's 2:30. It won't take much more than an hour to get down, but I'm quite happy with this. It's very nice. The usual way to go up Glassmail, of course, is from the road, from the ski centre at Glenshee, and then it's barely, 400 metre ascent? It's nothing. In terms of going up Big Munro, it's one of the least, it's one of the smallest ascents, I guess, of any of the Munros that are over 1,000 metres, I'd have thought. I've been up before. I've never actually been up from the ski centre, I don't think. I've been up Glassmail maybe 5 or 6 times. I've never been up from the ski centre. I've always come from here, or usually, as I say, from Glen Isla, or you go over the pass and all the way down into Glen Clooney, and where the road bends left, and then you sort of can go into the hills from down there, and go up Cairngorms Clasher as well, and make a round of it that way. It always seems a very uninspired approach going up from the ski centre. But it's a nice quick way if you want to get up. It's handy having the road there. If you need a quick way to get up high, like if you're going ski touring, it's a really good quick way of getting up high, and then you can just go all day, all the way over on these hills, all the way through towards the Angus Glens that way, and Loch Nagar is further that way as well. You can go for miles. That was lovely. Been up here for about an hour actually, and that'll do me. Just wanted to come and enjoy some snow time. Head back down again the way we came. Should be nice and straightforward. Car is in a lay-by all the way down there, so it's just a case of down here and back into the glen now. Well, as promised, I've come. Come back down the glen higher up, and yes, it's a snow hole. You can see the footprints going up. Just about to see into it actually. Have a look. Very nice. Well, I'm not going to go in because it is mild, and there's no guarantee that all that in there is going to be stable. Intriguing. Well, I'm back down the bottom, and I meant to sort of finish the blog up there, but on the way down it sort of occurred to me, I remembered that this is my 100th blog. Well, I mean, obviously I've done loads of the bite-sized ones, but this is my 100th proper Blethering Ben, my centenary. And I had sort of thought to orchestrate it so I did something really spectacular for the 100th. But it's probably quite fitting that it was just another walk that, you know, I could have been doing any week. But I'm glad I remembered just short of the end. I've been gutted if I got home and then was editing and realised, oh, it's number 100, I didn't say anything. And I have to say something. I just wish I had a party popper or something to pull, or something, or a little banner to wave saying 100. But anyway, 100 blogs. Thanks for watching.